And showtime, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup, a look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. I am Rich Freeman, executive editor of the ChannelPro Network, one of your hosts for this program. With me, as always, my co-host, Eric Simpson, who is senior vice president and CIO of SPC International, a business improvement and training organization for managed service providers and other IT providers. Eric, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty fantastic, Rich. How about you?
Doing pretty well also. We're heading into the weekend here. Looking forward to it myself.
So am I. So am I. It's been a long week.
It has, even though both of us are home. I was home certainly all week, and it sounds like you were too.
Yep, it was all the catch-up stuff that we get to do when we're at home in between all the travel and the jaunts that we make.
It's true, yes. Well, our top story is something that we probably would have spoken about last week, if not for the fact that we were both gallivanting about and didn't really get a chance to dive into this. So last week, we were both in Baltimore for the latest ChannelPro SMB Forum event. While that was taking place, Lenovo was hosting its annual Accelerate Partner Conference in Las Vegas. We had our own contributing editor, James Gaskin, over there, and he's written some articles for us about the conference that are up on the website now, went up within the last few days. And so this is our opportunity quickly to talk about that a little bit. And it was interesting. James sat down with the new president of Lenovo North America and their new channel chief for North America. And the new president in particular, he is the 6th person to occupy that position in the last 6 years. And so you can imagine, as a Lenovo partner, you might be wondering a little bit what is going to be different this time than the last time. I encourage people to go to the ChannelProNetwork.com website and check out the coverage of Accelerate. Because obviously only time will tell in the end if anything is going to be different this time, and they're able to achieve some stability. But stability and consistency and clarity is very much what was on the mind of Matthew Zielinski, who is the new Lenovo's new president for North America. And so if nothing else, it was encouraging to hear him and Rob Cato, who's the new channel chief, speak with James about their recognition of the fact that there's been a lot of turnover, that this has made it a little bit difficult for the company's partners, that they are 100% committed to Lenovo's partners and really feel like they cannot be successful in this market without their partners, and that they're going to be making an effort going forward to be a little bit more consistent in terms of their messaging and a little bit more diligent and disciplined in terms of how they measure themselves against those goals. So, this is what you want to hear, basically, if you're a Lenovo partner. And it's certainly what they needed to say. It was interesting to me to learn that they've only got 10% market share among SMBs in North America. That globally it's an enormous brand, and among consumers an enormous brand. But here in North America, among SMBs, 10% market share, a lot of headroom, a lot of opportunity ahead of them. And in order to seize that, they're going to really kind of need to get on a steady track and get their partners on board. And so far, so good. We'll see if this new leadership team can keep it up.
Yeah, you got to wonder how much of that, churn, I would say 6 times the charm, let's hope, but how much of that is affecting the market share in North America. And notwithstanding that kind of leadership turnover year over year for the last 6 years, Lenovo consistently does turn out really fine products. I mean, their hardware and their tech is top notch. So, let's hope that the strategic vision can drive growth in that area.
Yeah, I completely agree. In fact, I'm broadcasting my end of this video from a Lenovo laptop right now. I mean, the hardware is very good, and that factor is very much in their favor. And so it's, can they surround the products with the kind of partner program and sales and marketing efforts that they're going to need to start closing some of that market share gap with their top competitors. So you and I were at an event last week, and James Gaskin was at an event last week. It sounds like events might have something to do with your tip of the week.
Absolutely. So the tip of the week this week is not to overlook the importance of attending industry events. And I'll share a little background. Back when we were first building our IT practice before we transitioned to one of the first pure play MSPs in the channel way back in 2005, we really didn't appreciate the benefit of attending industry events and conferences and even vendor events and roadshows and things like that. I mean, we were kind of head down doing what we do. And I've got to, take a hit on myself. This is kind of, my kind of enterprise molding, back in another lifetime, I was, in the enterprise in IT, and, we really didn't get out to do that much, industry event and vendor focused things. So, when we started our practice, we ended up going to one of our first events, and boy, it was like an ostrich pulling its head up out of the ground going, holy cow, there is so much here that we don't even know about. And the benefits that we receive and continue to receive, even now, going to these industry events is, meeting with vendors, understanding new technology, new business processes, sales and marketing techniques, service delivery techniques, ways to optimize your business, and just participating with the peers, those hallway conversations, Rich, that are so important. I mean, getting, meeting with some of the speakers that you never would meet otherwise, that can really bring some value to your organization. But really, I think the value that we received, it's hard to say, is it 50%, vendors and new technology and new things? And is it 50% just interacting with other partners and sharing ideas and coming together as kind of, there's really no enemies here. We all come together as a family and share ideas and tips. And, once we started doing that, it tremendously accelerated our business growth. It impressed upon us the need to, consistently achieve certifications and vendor certifications and get into vendor, gold partner programs and things like that, and really understand MDF and all these different things that, with your head in the ground, doing what you do, just kind of plodding away. It really fed that strategic business growth side of our vision that really, I would say drove us to the success that we were able to achieve over time. So, I just want our partners that are listening to not overlook opportunities. Even if you've got to invest for, travel, and, I know that it gets down to kind of this line item on your budget, you'll receive tremendous value in return, in exchange for those trips. And, every time I decide not to go to an event and I hear about it afterwards, I immediately regret it. So that's our tip of the week.
And I think it's a really great and a really important tip. I don't know how many times this has come up in conversation over the years with channel pros, basically. And I get it. I totally and completely get it. If you're running a small business, it is a consuming job. The hours are long. There is always something to do. It is not easy to break away from your business and make time for an event. And as a result of that, that's one of the main reasons why so many people really don't do it. But the people who do it are the ones who really experience growth, and they will almost universally tell you that at the end of the day, it was worth the investment of their time and their money. You're right. There are travel costs very often to go to these events.
Yeah, it's surprising. It's surprising what you pick up, and it could be just that one thing that changes how you do business or how you do something that really drives transformation within your business. So, I can't stress that enough. So let's point them, Rich, to the location on ChannelPro's site where you host all the industry channel events. So can you share how our partners can get there, and just keep an eye on those events? And of course, don't overlook, visiting us at the ChannelPro SMB forums, where we do those quarterly and really deliver tremendous amounts of value. I know that ChannelPro really, ups the ante in getting the types of speakers that really help partners transform their businesses. And that's why I really appreciate the opportunity to speak at your events as well, Rich.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. We do really work hard to make those events great and useful for our audience. If you want to learn about our events, the place to go is events.channelpronetwork.com, and you'll get information about the September event that we're going to be doing in the Boston area and the November event that we'll be doing in Long Beach, California. For a more general, just industry-wide calendar of upcoming events, go to the channelpronetwork.com homepage. You'll see a navigation bar at the top of the page. There should be a link reading events there, and you'll find a link that says industry event calendar. Take a look at it. It's like Eric was saying, if you come away from the event with one thing it could be a game changer for your business. And so I'll just say, go to one event. Go look at that calendar, find yourself one event that you can break away to attend, and try that and see what kind of value you get out of it. And then see from there if maybe you attend more regularly. A lot of the partners I know who are growing very briskly are people who make the time to go to events on a regular basis. So, Eric, we have time for just one more story, and I will set it up. Now, you are a parent, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So imagine that this was to happen in your house. Alexa, go to your room.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
This is why it turns out parents are not naming their children Alexa as much as they used to before. In fact, from the good folks at Recode, we learned earlier this week that in 2015, there were 6,050 baby girls in the United States named Alexa, and that is down to just 3,883 in the most recent data available. Parents are no longer using the name Alexa with their young children because they don't want to confuse Amazon's virtual assistant. Which makes sense.
It's very, very funny. And the true techies on today's podcast know that you can change Alexa's call sign to computer for those Star Trek Trekkies, right? So if you're not familiar with that, check it out.
That's right. That's right. I've heard that. Right. And if I'm not mistaken, you have the option of a male voice as well. So I don't know if you can change him to Alex or something like that. That is all the time we have for this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you very much for joining us once again. If you want to stay up to date with future episodes, I encourage you to subscribe to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube. You want to read all about the great industry information, news coverage, and more business growth tips that we've got for you every day at ChannelPro. Go to channelpronetwork.com. You want to learn more about SPC International and the great work that they do with folks like yourself. You're going to go to consulting.spc-intl.com. That's consulting.spc-intl.com. Until next week, I'm Rich Freeman with Eric Simpson. Thank you again very much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.